He was stood up on a blind date, sitting alone in a crowded restaurant, until a little girl walked up and said something that changed his life forever. In a city of strangers, one man thought love had left him behind. But destiny had other plans, plans that arrived not in the form of a date, but a small child with a message from the heart. If this story touched your heart, hit the E button, comment miracles are real, and share this with someone who still believes in second chances. Don't forget to subscribe, because your next story might just be waiting at the table next to you. The rain had just stopped falling on a Friday evening in downtown New York City. The streets glowed beneath the streetlights, and the soft jazz drifting from the restaurant speakers made the world feel slower, quieter. Inside Bella Roma, a cozy Italian restaurant filled with laughter and flickering candles, Ryan Parker, 37, sat at a corner table near the window. The table was set for two, but only one glass of wine had been touched. Ryan checked his phone again. Nothing. No call, no message. He let out a small sigh, running a hand through his hair. Figures, he muttered to himself. His friend Jake had talked him into this. A blind date with a wonderful woman who apparently loved the same books and hated small talk. But after 50 minutes, it was clear she wasn't coming. He thought about leaving. But something kept him there. Maybe the quiet music, or maybe the way the world outside looked almost peaceful in the rain. For years, Ryan had lived in silence. 2 years ago, his wife Hannah had died in a car accident on their anniversary. Since then, he'd buried himself in work, chasing every distraction that made him forget how alone he really was. A soft voice suddenly broke his thoughts. "Excuse me, mister. Are you waiting for someone?" Ryan looked up. A little girl, maybe 7 years old, stood by his table. Her golden hair was tied in two messy pigtails, and she was holding a chocolate ice cream cone that was starting to drip onto her pink mittens. He blinked, surprised. Yeah. I was waiting for someone, but I don't think they're coming." The girl tilted her head, frowning. "That's sad. Mommy says good people never wait alone forever." Ryan smiled for the first time all evening. "Your mom sounds very smart." "She is," the girl said proudly. "She says people are like puzzles. Sometimes they just have to find the piece that fits." Before Ryan could respond, a woman's voice called out from across the restaurant. "Lily, sweetheart, there you are!" The girl, Lily, turned. Her mother rushed over, slightly out of breath, wearing a simple blue dress under a long coat. Her hair was damp from the rain, and her eyes were warm, kind, and filled with apology. "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice soft but embarrassed. "She tends to talk to everyone. I hope she wasn't bothering you." Ryan smiled. "Not at all. Actually, she was giving me life advice." The woman laughed, cheeks flushing. "Oh, she does that. She thinks she's everyone's little therapist." "Then she's a good one," Ryan said, chuckling. "I'm Ryan." "Emma," she replied, shaking his hand. "And this little troublemaker is Lily." Lily grinned. "Mommy, can he sit with us?" "He looks lonely?" Emma blushed. "Honey, he probably has plans." Ryan hesitated, looking at his untouched glass of wine, then back at them. "Actually, I don't. I'd love to join you." And so, what began as a failed blind date turned into an unexpected dinner with a stranger and her daughter. They talked about everything: books, music, childhood memories, and even the silly things that made Lily laugh so hard she nearly spilled her drink. For the first time in years, Ryan wasn't thinking about what he'd lost. He was thinking about what he'd found. As they left the restaurant, Lily slipped her small hand into his. "See?" she whispered. "Good people never wait alone forever." Ryan smiled softly. "You're right, Lily. Maybe my wait's finally over." He didn't know it yet. But that little girl, and her mother, were about to change his life in ways he never imagined. The weeks that followed felt like a sunrise after a long winter. Ryan found excuses to accidentally bump into Emma and Lily at the cafe near her workplace, at the park on weekends, at the bookstore where Lily liked to browse fairy tales. Soon they stopped pretending it was coincidence. Emma worked as a nurse at a children's hospital, often pulling double shifts. Life had hardened her in some ways, but her kindness had survived. Ryan admired that. He started showing up with coffee during her lunch breaks or helping Lily with her school projects. For Lily, Ryan was like a missing piece of family she didn't know she needed. Kind, funny, gentle. One Saturday afternoon, as they sat by the lake feeding ducks, Lily looked at Ryan seriously and said, "Mama used to cry at night, but she doesn't anymore." "I think you fixed her." Ryan smiled softly, eyes misty. "I think she fixed me too." By December, the trio had become inseparable. Ryan invited them to spend Christmas Eve at his home. His once empty apartment was now filled with light, a Christmas tree, cookies in the oven, and laughter echoing through the halls. That night, as snow fell outside, Lily crawled into Ryan's lap holding a small envelope. "I made you something," she said shyly. Inside was a crayon drawing, 3 stick figures holding hands under a Christmas tree. "That's you, Mommy, and me," she said proudly. "You're smiling now." Ryan's throat tightened. "It's perfect, Lily." As the night grew quiet, Lily whispered, "Can I tell you a secret?" Ryan leaned closer. "Of course." "You were sitting alone that night because Mommy was supposed to meet someone bad. But I prayed for someone good to come instead, and you did." He froze, staring at her innocent eyes. "You prayed for me?" She nodded seriously. "And God said, 'Don't worry, Lily. I'll send someone who needs you too.'" Ryan felt tears sting his eyes. He looked at Emma, who had overheard, her lips trembling with emotion. He took her hand. "You didn't just walk into my life, Emma. You and Lily brought me back to it." Outside, snow blanketed the streets, soft and endless. Inside, laughter and warmth filled the once cold apartment. For the first time since losing his wife, Ryan didn't feel like half a person. He felt whole again. Months later, at the same restaurant where everything began, Ryan knelt beside the table where Lily had once said, "Good people never wait alone forever." This time he wasn't waiting, he was proposing.